What is going on, everybody? It is David Palmer, the Leo King, and this is my live stream third time doing it from my studio. But I have to get this message out. And you know me, I just got to be a perfectionist, and we're still in Virgo, and there's this perfectionist side of me that just has to get this thing right. So thanks for bearing with me. It's been kind of quite a journey, to be honest with you. Live stream, I used to do it with webcams and everything, doing it with real cameras and doing it with switchers and doing it with all this stuff. It's just like a little bit intense, but it's not that. This is post-eclipse hangover, especially when you have a Mercury retrograde getting ready to stop. And so I'll be honest, it kind of first kind of feels like, wow, this is a lot to go on with. Now, it's okay if you feel the way that you're feeling. Mercury is almost done with its retrograde after an eclipse. So even though I think the craziness is over, like the harshest and the most intense, remember we had Sun square Mars, we had an eclipse square Mars, we had an eclipse on Chiron. I mean, that is just a bunch of stuff to go through. But what I think the most interesting part about everything going on right now and it is trying to figure it all out right now is a little too hard. Weighing out all these new options of what's important, I think, because with this moon in Taurus and this grand trine, and by the way, we can actually look at the chart here and see what's going on. This Mercury retrograde is trining Pluto. It's trining Pluto. And what's even more interesting to me about this is, we're at the waning part of the moon. The eclipse doesn't officially end until we are done with the next new moon, which comes in very soon, September 30th. So that's when a lot of this crazy energy really will officially end, especially when Mercury gets out of retrograde. And by the way, Pluto is about to get out of retrograde as well, too. So, there's a lot to actually start to think about here. Because what you really are going to start to realize is there is a whole brand new world coming, and there's a lot of frustration. But if you realize that frustration is stuff that might not have worked out, or frustration of you're going to have to go into a new world now. That's part of Saturn and Sagittarius. I hate to be honest. It's the whole new world, It's like also the world card in tarot to me. And I think that, moving into a new world, moving into a new place, wanting old things to come with you. Just, there's no baggage room for this. I think that full moon lunar eclipse in Chiron kind of said, you can't bring this with you to wherever you got to go. And there's this frustration, and Jupiter in Libra is like, well, what do you mean? I want connection and I want all these things. But it's like, this is a time where there's way too many deeper things to try and figure out. And sure, you want to know every answer right now. And sure, you want to figure every little thing out. It's just not that easy. It's just not that easy. It really isn't. So don't freak out. I think that's the number one lesson, is to not freak out, because we can tend to freak out. And I don't think we need to freak out so much. Like freaking out so much, I think, is like where we start to lose it. By the way, this is like, so you guys can see, this is how the whole operation goes. And I have this new cool thing coming up on my live streams, to where you're going to be able to be a guest and be on the screen right here. And I'm going to be able to show the screen to the live viewers as well. So I'm really excited about that. That's going to be the new platform that's coming. So I'm really stoked. But, this is already, there's so many options here in life. And we need to realize that there are a lot of options that we're going to be dealing with in our life, and to kind of pay more attention to that, instead of being like, I only want to use this camera and I only want to use these things in my life. And I want to bring this with me. Well, when I was doing this show, I was using webcams and it was crashing and there was a lot of problems because of the webcams. And to be honest with you, I had to step up my game, and I had to go get full camera gear to make this whole show work better. And so I think that there's a lesson for all of us that, you know what, right now in our lives, there's a little bit of a hangover here. It's like, what was that? When you come out of a Pisces full moon, lunar eclipse, you're just like, what was all that? And what happened? And I can't believe all this happened. Like what? And you just, and there's anger. I hate to be honest. There's anger. Mars is in the middle of all this. And Mars has come out of a retrograde and it all year has been frustrated. So it's like there's anger. Why didn't this work out? What's going on? And with Mercury in retrograde, so with the sun still finishing in Virgo, you know, it's like, man, why do I have this frustration? Why do I have this anger? Why do I got this anger? I think that we just start like learning that, you know, nothing's perfect. Nothing's perfect. But what's coming after this little last bump, as you can see, it's already all moving in the right direction. It's already all going in the right place. I do want to join the Facebook chat and see people in here. I did fix it to where we shouldn't have any more issues going on. But of course, there's me talking to myself here. Okay, yo. I am in the chat if you guys want to holla at me. Yo. So I'm in the chat. But the anger, the frustration, all this stuff, like let's look at the chart, okay? Let's look at this chart because let's see the next couple days. Now, of course, tomorrow I'll be filming my uncut, but let's look at the next couple days. Well, let's actually do the daytime instead of the nighttime. That might help. All right. So the big thing is the sun's going to come into Libra on the 22nd, the day that Mercury is coming stationary back online. So I think this is a big deal. Getting to Thursday is going to be very crucial for people. This is also going to be the last day of Venus in Libra. So Thursday is a huge day. Really big day. A lot to pay attention to there. And it's until then, not losing it. When already you have to realize the hardest is over. This is just like baby stuff. This is just little things. These are little things frustrating us. These are like us weighing out options when really there's like this trifecta third option that might just be there. You know, like there might be this third option that's there. And when you get a third option that's there, it's like, oh my gosh, there is another option here. I just realized that Jupiter in Libra makes us feel like, oh my gosh, I need to like have this all figured out right now. I need to like weigh out all these things. All these things need to be like done. And it's like, why don't you just chill out right now? It's a post-eclipse. Crazy change happened. And the finalization of that change is happening. So in the middle of this metamorphosis, in the middle of this craziness, relax, chill out. Taurus moon wants to chill out anyways. Tauruses know how to chill real good. Go get on that nice couch. Go get a massage. Go relax. Go chill. But don't lose that right now. And I think it's hard because like trying to pick what's important in your life right now is hard. Being a Taurus is actually harder than you think because owning what you know you should own, whether that's your worth, your self-worth, that's not easy. And especially with Mars and how it's at right now, and there's frustration and all these crazy things. It's like, oh my gosh, just only do what you know is important. Don't try and sucker or have anybody sucker yourself into doing something that you don't want to do. Like, that's just some part of the energy right now. Like, not being suckered into being like, oh my gosh, like I'm being suckered into doing this. Like, no, you're not. And not at all. You know? You have to learn to stand your ground. Part of this is learning to stand your ground after this eclipse. Know that you're not wrong, for feeling the way that you feel. You're not wrong for being the person that you are. You're not wrong for your imperfections. You got to like accept your imperfections and own them. Be like, you know what? I might not be perfect, but I'm damn freaking cool and I'm damn awesome still. That might be hard though right now. That might be like the hardest thing for people to do right now. It's like, oh my gosh. Like, all I have to do is just own me and just be me. part of this is just learning to just do that. And if people don't like it, gosh, sorry. You know? That's what's so hard, because when Jupiter's in Libra, you would think, oh, it's going to open up relationship doors. Yeah, well, the first thing it's going to do is close the doors, the ones that don't work, in order to open the ones that will work. I think that's like the funniest thing about Jupiter when it enters into Libra, which I think a lot of people have a hard time with. So I'm going to be in the chat. We are going to go to a quick 60-second break. I don't want you to go nowhere. I also have to get something really quick. So don't go nowhere. I'll be back. 60 seconds. See you in a sec. I'm back now, and I don't even know what that was. It was like re-looping the commercial, like blah, 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 blah. I'm like gone around the other corner, like trying to figure this thing out. It's just so funny. It's just like nothing works out perfect. It's like, it's like, geez, only 2 minutes of that commercial worked. So weird. So weird. You know what I mean? Everybody's like, the alarm is annoying, yo. It's like, yeah, I know that alarm was annoying. But you know what? Maybe it was a wake-up call for us all from the last line that I just brought up about doors got to close in order for doors to open. And I think, like, that's a huge message of the Pisces energy that happened. That's a huge message of just overall with everything that's happening. That's just like what everything is that's happening. I think we really got to pay attention to that part. And I think that's like the hardest part. You know what I mean? Like, that's the hardest part. So I'm in the chat. If anybody has something to say that they want to say, you know, bring it on up. I'd love to hear what everybody has to say, if they're resonating with this or not, you know, because it's kind of intense, to be honest with you. And it's freaking hot. I don't know what's going on in California, but it is humid. It feels like it's Florida, and it's super hot. I'm drinking gallons of water here. That's how hot it is. Gallons. And I smell like sweat. I never smell like sweat either. But I legitimately smell like sweat. Like, it's not crazy. But somebody said they're feeling wonky. Intense. Yes, it is. You know, and it you know, it's like, somebody said earthquake weather. Oh, gosh. I always like think earthquake weather is more dry. Like here in California, it's like dry, like heat, dry though, where like this is like humid, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, clouds and stuff. Like I'm not used to being humid, especially here in the studio, like not used to it at all. But, you know, it is what it is. So don't flip out these next couple days, because there's a part of us that might want to make crazy decisions. Don't make them. Please don't make them. I mean, do your life. You know what I mean? But like crazy decisions right now, I would just say are not what we need to be doing right now. Like, I just got to be honest with you. I just don't. So that might be hard for people though. You know, it's like, they might get caught up in being like, oh, I got to do this now. You know, this is what I should be doing. And it's like, no, you don't have to do this. I think people are flipping out and actually feeling like I have to do this right now in my life. You don't have to do anything right now. You don't have to. You know? I think that's hard though. A lot of people are like, you know, get stuck into like, God, I got to do this. You know? I got to do this. So don't trip out. Don't trip out now. Don't trip out. Well, I'm not going to trip out too much. I'm going to be back, I swear, in like 60 seconds, but I have to do a quick break. My alarm went off. I had to do something. I'll be back 1 second, and I'm looking at the chat room right now. All right, I'm back, kids. So, let's look at the chart one more time. I'm going to do an uncut tomorrow, and I think the uncut's going to help people a lot. And I am back. Let me get that off my head there. Let's see. You know what stands out to me the most is after this Mercury retrograde, after the sun comes into Libra, we have this really interesting alignment going to happen on Friday. Venus is going to come into Scorpio, and the sun's going to get ready for its conjunction with Jupiter. Mercury's still in trine with Pluto, and Pluto is going to be what we call stationary, getting ready for its it's about to go stationary and go direct, which is going to happen on Monday exactly, but technically Sunday. So it's just back to back to back to back to back to back stuff happening. Like, for real. Like, so much stuff back to back to back to back. And I think that we just really have to realize that I think the first part of this back-to-back energy is the next couple of days is not to lose it and to realize that you can't figure it all out and it's okay and it's chill and just don't freak out. But I think the second part of all this is a lot of good energy and a lot of positivity and a lot of you having to step up and come into this new world and come into this new life. And it's pretty damn exciting, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm pretty stoked about everything that's coming. I'm really stoked about everything that's coming. But I think what we need to really focus on is, in order for you to get to that exciting world right now, because the universe did all the major crazy shifts and made you realize everything, you just have to wait on a couple minor little details left, and you're freaking out about those, and you don't need to freak out about those anymore. So why keep losing yourself in those? You know what I mean? There's really no need, if that makes sense. There really is no need. None at all. And that sometimes can make us just go crazy in itself. And that's why I call it a crazy eclipse. Because, at the end of the day, yes, I know that this is a weird time. Yes, I know that Pisces energy was crazy, even though it kind of comes later. Pisces it kind of comes in, kind of happens, it's kind of like a tsunami, right? It's oh, I don't think there's going to be that much water coming on the beach. And then it's oh my God, it's on the beach, and then you start freaking out. I think that it could be a little bit hard. And you know what? Relationships are a major point of this. A lot of people are bringing up relationships in the chat room right now. And I think that that's really important because this is a lot of Libra energy. Jupiter's in Libra. Venus is in Libra. And the sun, Jupiter, and Libra on Thursday will all be together at the same time that Mercury comes out of retrograde. And the same time that the sun comes to its equinox point. Thursday's a big day. Don't be making crazy, crazy stuff happen in the next couple days. This is a day to just kind of do the minor details, build things that you got to build up, but do not start being like, I'm going to go do this. I'm about to go jump into this situation. I'm going to go do this in my life. It's like, this is just not the time. Oh my gosh. Well, I sound like a crazy person putting a crazy, like, warning out there or something. But that, that's what it is. That's what it is, Like that's really what it is. And so I think it's important to not lose it and do things that are just a little bit too overwhelming for you right now. Like, you don't need to. You can relax. You can chill. You can let everything just kind of fall into its place and let it all settle in. I think that that's important. But you could become obsessive to figure things out right now when there's really no need. You can become obsessive when it comes to trying to understand what you need to fix. And maybe the thing you need to fix, you shouldn't even be fixing anymore because it's not worth it. That might be a hard thing to handle too. It might be a hard thing to deal with. That might be the hardest part of this whole entire thing. Is when do you realize that something's broken and it can't be fixed? And then when does it go to the scrapper? Some deep shit right there. There's some deep. Woo! What do people say about that? People are agreeing with that. But, people are like, I'm just eyeing that crystal on that desk. Yeah, I got a crystal on here. I should probably show more of the stuff. I got a cool little Leo, little lion there. I also got this really cool cat that's got looking at a mirror. There, now it's a little bit more like the desk, right? Yes, more like the desk. Oh, it's so funny. My phone did that. But anyways, if you look at the chart, let's take off my name on the chart there. If we look at this chart, this is coming into next week. And next week, Mars out of Sagittarius. We've been dealing with that all year. You got to remember, Mars has only been in Scorpio, Sagittarius. It's like, oh my gosh, we're finally going to have Mars come into a different sign. Usually Mars moves into a new sign every 40 days. So, this is going to be a big deal. And Mars is coming to what we call its exalted point, which means this is where we can accomplish things on a huge scale with a Mercury out of retrograde, a Pluto direct, and a Mars in its exalted sign. Gosh, next week we are flying, and then a new moon to boot in Libra with Jupiter there. I don't think you guys all realize that the world is about to become really amazing and whole new worlds developing, and it's this weird little transitional, moment here of the best way that I could put it is a hangover, and we all just need to drink our water and get all good about it and just kind of revive ourselves a little bit. You know what I mean? It's time for us to revive. It's time for us to revive ourselves, feel right, feel, just make ourselves feel better. Part of Taurus too is make yourself feel better. I went and got a haircut today, and it was it felt good because I get the haircut where it's yeah, okay, give me the massage. Okay. Yeah. Put the hot towel on my face. Okay. Yeah. Those little things work out. But when you try and get in crazy arguments right now or try and fight situations or try and figure things out, because man, today the last couple of days have been just nonstop. This person needs to get through, and I even have to get out my, point of view out. And it's oh my gosh, why is it we even doing this? There's no point in it. There's no point in trying to, figure out who's right, who's wrong, because that's kind of Jupiter and Libra too. It kind of shows you now where, the judgment aspect becomes extreme. People don't realize the downfall of Jupiter and Libra is judgment becomes huge. Huge. Big part. So, learning to make sure that you're not getting that you're judging yourself, I think is a big point, or that you're judging others. That's going to come up real big, especially when Venus is in its natural sign. You know what I mean? Oh, somebody had a good question right now. The question is, what tarot card would describe this situation the best? I would say the Two of Pentacles, because there is a balanced aspect of it. We're kind of in between worlds as the world is equalizing. There's this physical aspect because it's pentacles, and it's like our physical lives are at stake here changing. And we're trying to figure it out so much, and we're trying to also calm the seas down and make, I think understand exactly which direction we're taking life. And I think we need to, there's this moment where it's we need to wait for it to all be right. And right now it's not all right. It's just not all right to go make a major crazy decision right now. There's too much information that needs to be found. There's too much with Mercury trine Pluto right now. There's too much to dig up. I would say it would be multiple cards. I would say it would be more than two pentacles. I'd say it'd also be the death card. You know what I mean? There's a rebirth happening right now, and it's a big one, and it's very intense, and it's so intense. I'm sweating so much. I'm sweating a lot, I'm sweating a lot. And I'm not sweating because of how crazy the energy is. I'm sweating because it's just hot. But I think what we went through was even crazier, if that makes sense. What we went through is even more crazy than I think people realize. It's the aftermath now. The aftermath. Are we moving into the death card? I think the death card has already happened, and it's the phoenix is rising, and I think there's a part of us that wants to stay deep there, or not leave, stay in what's already dead. So then that would be kind of the 10 of Swords upright. There's a lot of cards. I mean, to be honest with you, there's so much happening. Astrology, you just can't pinpoint on one card. That's why tarot, I'll be honest with you all. Tarot's cool and all, but if you're basing your whole life on some tarot readers reading over the week, this is just not enough. I'm sorry. It's not enough. You need astrology. You need every part. You need all 12 of the zodiac. You need all the unique positions that are happening. Look at the astrology. Look at how much stuff there is to look at. Now, of course, this is September 26th, but if I just even go back, it's especially the 22nd, when the equinox is going to happen, and we're going to come out of Mercury retrograde, and we're going to have Venus, Jupiter, and the sun. That's going to be the most Libra energy we're going to have this year. All on the day that Mercury comes direct. David just said it's great. David Hauser just said it's great. We really are coming out of the darkness. We really are coming out, it really is true. But I think it's you might not believe it. Although I'll be honest, I believe it because I'm an astrologer and I see it. But, somebody who doesn't pay attention to astrology and everything goes, what the, pardon my French, but what the fuck just happened these last couple of weeks? And what the hell's going on? And why is the universe forcing me to make a really hard decision to go into this new world, even though that's what I really want to do, even though why is it so hard? It's weird. It's this is what you really want to do anyway. This is where you really want to go anyway. But why is it so hard to go make this damn decision? It's because you're still attached to old energy. You are afraid to open up the door. You're afraid to really look through. You're trying to fix things that just you're realizing might be dead, might be over. This goes on relationship fronts. This goes on business fronts. This goes on a million fronts. And you know what? The hard decisions, making hard decisions next week when Mars comes into Capricorn, after we're out of Mercury retrograde, after we're out of Pluto retrograde as well. But I'm telling you, next week, you're going to have to make some big choices, and you're going to have to step into them, and you're going to have to be a big boy and a big girl, and you're just going to have to do it. But that's how you get the world that you want. That's how you get the world you want. It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. So, And I think a lot of people have a hard time with like making those big choices, especially after an eclipse, because after the eclipse happens, like we just had, it's like, oh man, all this stuff happened, and oh my gosh, and why did this happen? And you just need to realize, like, it was to open up a new door that you haven't even been able to walk through yet, and you've been trying to get to this place. When you finally get to the place, it's almost like you subconsciously don't know what to do. You freak the F out. You know what I mean? Like, you freak the F out. Like, oh my God, I don't need that. I just... So, relax. Chill out. I mean, even me, here I am at my studio. I was like, man, I gotta be by the mic. But it's like, man, you just gotta chill out, dude. This next couple days, chill out. This couple next days, don't lose yourself and try to figure every stupid thing out. Trying to push things so hard. Trying to push to make this happen. To push, because you know what? You're going to get there and then there's going to be something that needs to be fixed. There's going to be something that doesn't go right. There's going to be something that you're going to need more information on. And then it's just going to frustrate you more. This is extremely frustrating energy for the next 3 days. Technically 2, because September 22nd is going to be great. But for the next 2 days, the 20th and the 21st, it's mellow energy and it's your own frustration because you're wanting it to be way more intense. You're wanting it to be way more than really can happen at the moment. And it's like, relax. There's actually a lot happening and it's just all in the right motion. So don't trip out about it. You know what I mean? There's no need to. I'm going to take a couple questions before I go in the chat room right now. Somebody just wrote, I don't know what direction to take anymore. And that's cool. It's going to really reveal itself really fast here. I want to say this before we go to the questions, but start writing the questions down. Hold on. We're going to do this. We got to do this. It's time. We got to. I love this new program. It makes me just like, this is just like a kid at a candy store for me. I'm going to say this direct to camera. It's funny that like this, it's like saying CPU high too. Like, oh man, like the computer might crash. Like there's so much going on, but I'm going to say this. What are you so afraid of when it really is? Why are you going to do what you don't want to do? Why are you going to be content with doing shit you don't want to do? Huh? You enjoy you enjoy it? Now, if somebody told me, yeah, my phone's always going off. It's like crazy telling me messages. Spirit is trying to come through, but it's like, why? I would never sleep next to, if somebody said, you need to sleep next to all this shit next to you, I'd be like, no, I don't think so. I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not going to sleep next to all that shit. I don't want to. But there's a bunch of us that are like willing to almost be like, well, maybe that might be like a good idea. What? These are times that test the people who know how to manifest the lives they want and those who will take the 5th option and not the first option they want. I'm the kind of person where if like I roll up to Burger King, even though I don't go to Burger King, but we're using it as an example. If I roll up to Burger King, I'm like, yo, I want number 1. And they're like, yo, we don't got number 1s today. We're out. You know what I do is I go, I'm out of here. I don't go, okay, let's see here. Let me rethink here. Let me try and get a number 5. That's not what I came here for. I came here for Burger King's effing number 1. And like that's the whole square to Mars. People who have really harsh Mars square never get what they want in their life. They know that it's like, oh, I don't know, I'm unsure. Or if they have difficult Mars position, it's like, oh man, I'm unsure. Especially Mars just squared Chiron. There's literally like this feeling like, oh God, can I really get what I want in my life? Or am I going to always just keep fucking up? No, you're not fucking up. You want something really specific this life. And the way to get what you want is you have to do things and you got to go through a situation that makes you even know better for what it is that you really want. So why are you freaking out? Like that didn't work out because that's actually not what you want. Even though You could lose yourself into thinking that it is, but when you test that real deep, intense, yes, do I really want this? Like, this is really what I want in my life. Oh my gosh, you're going to test and really find that, oh my gosh, I actually really want this. I really want this. So why are you going to start being part of this whole cycle of like, oh man, like maybe I should do this instead?